Hey, y'all, please pray for me. My name is Troy, and I am an alcoholic and a million other things. And but for the grace of God in this program of recovery, I sit before you clean and sober today. My sobriety date is October 22nd, 2001. I just picked up my 22nd birthday. And I can tell you one of the things that I have learned to do is to remain in the mindset of a newcomer, because this recovery thing has so many layers and it keeps revealing more and more for me to learn and for me to unlearn. There was a time when after I finished praying, I would get up out of my crouching position and say, I am going to tackle the world. I'm going to get you. Now, instead of being a go-getter, God has taught me, this program has taught me to be a go-giver, you know? So Kevin, when you asked that I come and sit with the family and speak, of course, yes, it would be my pleasure, my honor. You know, I'm a garden variety alcoholic, drug addict. I was addicted to a lot of things. And what I've found is some of the things are unusual. I don't know of too many people that are addicted to violence, but I was. And I believe that sends out a specific type of energy, you know, where you attract a lot of violence, you know, and my story is full of those, you know, but I can tell you that I've had my chance to sit in jails and prisons. I've had my chance to ride in ambulances several times. I've had my hospital stays. I've had it. I've done it. But that's not the reason that I'm here, am I? I'm not here to describe the disease of alcoholism to you. You know what it looks like. You know, I'm not here to do that. What I'm here to do is to tell you that withstanding my alcoholic addiction and troublesome life, I landed in this nice, soft place that allowed me to not just learn more about myself, but to unlearn some behavior as well. And when these things occur, it gives me an opportunity to really kind of gauge just how sober are you, Troy? You know, because life continues to do what life does. You know, in the big book, it says that life is a drama. And yeah, that's one of the most truest statements I've ever heard. Because in a drama, you got a little, sometimes it's a little serious, but then you get little laughter, and then you get some depression, and you get some anxiety. You know, all of that is part of the drama of life. It's how I react to all that. That's the difference. In the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous, in the spiritual experience, it said something that I think might be worth reading. It says on page 568, that second full paragraph, it says, most emphatically, we wish to say that any alcoholic capable of honestly facing his problems in the light of our experience can recover, provided he does not close his mind to all spiritual concepts. He can only be defeated by an attitude of intolerance or belligerent denial. My attitude has changed. That was one of the biggest gifts that I've gotten from the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. I've got a new attitude, and it allows me to have disagreements with folks, and everybody goes home. You know, nobody goes to the hospital. You know, nobody goes to jail. We just disagree. That's all. We just disagree. What a wonderful space to live in. You know, that I don't necessarily have to accept every invitation to go dance. You know what I mean? Now I'm gonna sit this one out. I love the ability to have that choice because I was addicted to getting involved. Drugs and alcohol did some damage. And the person you see in front of you is really a survivor of something like a fire. You know, I've been scorched, I've been burned, but I survived. And that in itself has value. It gives me a second version of this life that I've been gifted with. I get a different perspective now. I have an ability to consult with God before I make decisions. I invite other men into my head, you know, and that is new behavior. When I tell you it's new behavior, I mean, I don't like inviting anybody into my head. I was not comfortable with doing that. But coming into this program, being blessed with good sponsorship, they encouraged me. Let us in. Let us in. We can help you carry some of that burden. We can help you make sense of some of the nonsense. And I took a risk. And I did just that. I let people in. I'm not here to talk to you about the disease of alcoholism and addiction. I'm here to talk to you about the solution to that disease. By inviting folks in, I am no longer alone. And when I say that to you, I mean it in all aspects of that. I am no longer alone. If I have a heavy lift, I have folks I can invite in and are willing to help me lift, carry, and unload. You see, that's a gift for me because now I don't have to rely on that on that voice in my head that sounds just like me, telling me stuff that is just not true. I can give myself a shot and I can invite somebody and say, hey, listen, this is what I'm thinking. And it's helpful to me because it has been proven time and again that when I don't use my instinctual thinking, I always end up better. You know, when I invite people in and I say to them that this is what I am contemplating and I am this close to doing it, and they say, hold up, don't pull the trigger just yet. Let's look at it this way. And it offers me an opportunity to review what it is that I'm planning to do. And then more than that, it offers me an opportunity to change. I don't necessarily have to go that path. That's brand new. You see, every day I wake up and I get a choice. You know, I could always choose where I've come from. I could always go back to drinking and drugging. You know, my two choices are these. I can choose misery, going back, trying again, or I can choose the mystery of this 12-step program, the mystery of God, the mystery of service, the mystery of community. These are things that I'm exploring now. And I'm fascinated by what I find. I'm finding that I can be a different man today than I was yesterday. I can look over my behavior, yesterday's behavior, and see some places where I want to bring some improvement. I can do a better job. I could be more loving. I could be more compassionate. I can be more forgiving. You know, and it enlightens me when I have that opportunity to review it and find some missteps. I can go back and I can say, you know what, I was wrong. I was wrong for that. Whatever it was, if it offended, please accept my deepest apology. It won't happen again. I didn't have that skill set prior to coming in here. It's things like saying, thank you. I appreciate you. I love you. I love you is the big one. But I see that I've grown past that. That's why when I talk, I tell people that I grew up in AA, because as it says in the 12 Traditions and 12 Steps book, it says, this is a program that helps makes boys into men and girls into women. And we get a chance to be a witness to others' changes, other people being rescued by the solution. We get a chance to be a witness. So when I talk to you about my own change, I can also reference changes that I've seen and that this program does indeed work. If you are new, that's all right. Just keep coming. Please, you don't take my word for it. Try it for yourself. And it is available. The misery is always going to be there waiting for you. Let it wait. Explore the mystery of what your life could possibly be, what is unfolding before you, and how you can be an active participant in this wonderful stream of life. In the Big Book of Alcoholics Anonymous, it talks to me about misery and mystery on page 24 and 25. 24 is where misery lives. It says the fact is that most alcoholics, for reasons yet obscure, have lost the power of choice in drink. Our so-called willpower becomes practically non-existent. We are unable at certain times to bring into our consciousness with sufficient force the memory of the suffering and humiliation of even a week or a month ago. We are without defense against the first drink. We are without defense against the first drink. That's a miserable place to be without defense. I had no choice. If the thought came to my head, I had to act on it. I didn't have to like it either. And so it's funny, when you come into the programming and you're asked to do certain things, I could hear that voice in my head. No, I don't like that. I don't like that. Well, brother, you didn't like getting drunk or getting found drunk. You didn't like that either. Recognize when you've been rescued. Stop digging. And the mystery reveals itself on page 25, where it says there is a solution. Almost none of us like the self-searching, the leveling of our pride, the confession of shortcomings, which the process requires for its successful consummation. But we saw that it really worked in others. I had to be a witness to it. And we had to come to believe in the hopelessness and futility of life as we had been living it. When therefore we were approached by those in whom the problem had been solved, there was nothing left for us but to pick up the simple kit of spiritual tools laid at our feet. We have found much of heaven, and we have been rocketed into a fourth dimension of existence of which we had not even dreamed. Yes, I came from a place where there was a lot of violence. My house was shot up. My wife's aunt was killed in our living room, bullet to the head. I was a witness there. I moved through that with drugs and alcohol. So when I tell you that there are nasty, disgusting things that get some of us here, please believe me. I know that I'm not here accidentally. I can tell you that there's at least 3 times that if I was not meant to be here, I could have been taken in that moment. But God saw fit to keep me still here. I'm forever grateful for that. I had a second step experience, you know, when I came in, and God was, you know, I used to think that God was mad at me. You know, that if I ever ran into God on the street, I'd have to duck and weave, because he's coming, you know. But I believe now that as much as we talk about our God and our higher power, we cannot for 1 second forget that there is a darker side. Not for 1 second. And he knows me well. And he speaks to me in my own voice, telling me stuff that is just not true. And, you know, I've learned that that's not a battle that I can engage in and win. But I believe when I'm around and consult others, it's a we. It's a we thing. It's not a me thing. I don't have to tackle that beast by myself. So when I came in, I was told very early on is to get your we together. Well, what do you mean? Well, get your we together. Get you a network of people that you can pick up the phone and know that they're going to pick up theirs. Get some trusted people, you know, take a risk, let some people in. And I did that, you know, and I'm so thankful today for good sponsorship and a good network of men. You know, my phone is filled. And it's hard to fool one of these new cell phones, but mine is full. I am back to writing numbers down on pen and paper again. And that for me in itself is allowing some new information to come in, you know? I am so grateful to be able to pick up my phone and call somebody and say, you know what, I'm in need right now of someone to talk to. Are you available? And invariably, the answer is always yes. Or, hey, give me a minute. I'll call you right back. And they call me right back. Words mean something today. You know, my word is my bond today. If I broke my word, I would feel horrible. You know, if something is happening that prevents me from honoring my word, I want to be able to communicate that quicker. You know, there was a time when I played that game, you know, oh, I'll call them in an hour, or I'll call them in 2 hours. Oh, it's been 2 days, Troy. What are you going to do? So I don't see myself behaving like that. And a lot of what we do is really surveil ourselves now. I look at myself a lot and compare myself, not to you, but to who I used to be. I make these comparisons quite often, and I see that there's been a change, there's been a difference. And I can only point towards this program and say that this is where I found the difference. There is a solution. It's a fact. It's not a theory for me anymore. And if you find yourself early in this program and you're uncomfortable, that's all right. That's okay. There's a great deal of discomfort coming. You know, some truth is going to follow. But I can promise you this, that there's no growth in the comfort zone and there's no comfort in the growth zone. Allow yourself to grow. You know, I view it as being impregnated with recovery, you know, and I compare it to my mom and my sisters when they gave birth. You know, I remember when my little sister was born, my mother couldn't even walk. She waddled, you know, and it was because she was growing, you know, and she was giving birth to something, you know, and I will go further to say that she suffered through that birth. But at the end of that suffering, there was some new growth and a new way of going forward. And I believe that that's the same thing that happens to us here in recovery. You know, we grow. And sometimes it might be a little uncomfortable. You know, you might get some stretch marks, you know, but you're going to be better for it. I trust this program and I trust the process. And what is also true is that if you're new in here and somebody tells you that it's easy, run from them. Leave them. Don't expect easy. You know, expect to do the work. You know, and one of the things that I was made aware of is that this is not a cafeteria. You go to the cafeteria, you can have a little bit of the corn, but no carrots for me. You know, I'll have a little meatloaf, but no, I'm not gonna mess with that chicken. Well, in here, it's an open kitchen, and we all go through the same process in order to get the result. We work those steps. We connect with each other and we connect with a higher power. We ask that he continues to keep us sober and keep us safe. And not just from something out here, but safe from in here as well. You see, this inner space I call my brain sometimes does not want me to remain sober, because we have been living in this environment of alcohol for so long that it had been normalized, and it feels abnormal not to be drinking, not to be getting high. So that burn, you know, after the fire is still there. That burn is scarred over, but it's still there. That's what allows me to work with and help newcomers, because I haven't forgotten. Anytime you've been burned, you will never forget that burn. You know, you might forget how you got this scratch, you know, but you're not gonna forget how you got that burn. And if you don't think of it as a fire, give me an opportunity to relay this way that I'm thinking. You know, if I put this finger in a cup of water and keep it in that cup of water for 25, 30 years, just a cup of water, but when I remove that finger, is this finger functional? No, it's gone. You might see it, it might look still like a finger, but you can't feel it. It doesn't have circulation. A lot of damage has been done just by water. Now, I advance to you, if we stick our finger in a cup full of water, and then you pour in some Bacardi and some gin, add a little cocaine and some mescaline and whatever else you can think of, and you keep it there for 30 years. What is the condition of this finger? Well, that is the condition of my brain. I came in to the program of Alcoholics Anonymous at the age of 36. And I can tell you that for those, 25 years, I had my first drink when I was 6 years old, and I started drinking maybe 12, 13. So by 14, I was a full-fledged drug addict, alcoholic, running the streets of New York City. And I can tell you that I've put my brain through a burn. So yeah, I have been rescued by the EMTs. I have been looked at by doctors, and I've been examined and re-examined. And yeah, there's some neurological damage there. And I didn't need them to tell me that. I know, but I just don't know when it is active, So in this program that we call recovery, this 12-step program has given me an opportunity to get with my pen and my paper and put it down I do a written first step, and I see a lot. A lot is revealed there, but then more than me seeing it, I have to show it to somebody. So I allow myself to be sponsored, And people say that you go through the steps once. That has not been my experience. I've gone through the steps over 8 times. And I can tell you each and every time, out comes a new birth, a new birthing, a new awakening. If my attitude is right, I can see some things about me that I can change today. Oh yeah, I can see the other stuff that I don't want to change right now. Yes, I can see that too. But more than that, the gift is being able to see something that you can change today. And then be willing to change it. Be willing to be vulnerable. I haven't been sharing a whole lot in meetings. Well, now I have an opportunity to raise my hand. Hey, please pray for me. My name is Troy, and I am an alcoholic. And then share honestly and wholeheartedly. And then pray about it. For years, I've heard folks tell their sponsees, all right, pray about that. One of the things that I didn't know how to do when I came into this program was to pray. I heard a lot about prayer, but I really didn't know how to construct one. But what helped was good sponsorship. My sponsor would kneel down right beside me, and he would pray, and I would repeat his words. I learned how to pray in the program of Alcoholics Anonymous. I didn't come in here knowing how to pray. I've seen people pray, and it didn't feel comfortable to me. It didn't look like something I wanted to participate in. I could assume the position, get on my knees, put my hands together, and not say a word. The honesty must be present. I have to tell somebody that I don't know how to pray, that I've been pretending at it all this time. And then the realization of how really easy prayer is comes. Oh, it's just a conversation with your higher power, bro. That's all it is. All you're doing is reaching out, being honest, telling your higher power that you're afraid, that you don't know what to do, that you're lost, and you need some guidance and some direction. How hard is that? Well, I had to overcome my ego. You mean I got to humbly put myself on my knees? Yes, that is the most humble position you can fold your body into. Get on your knees. If you need to, put your face on the floor and talk to him or her. It is your higher power, not mine. And you speak to them in an honest tone and withhold nothing. I'm not here to tell you how to pray, but I'm telling you, you got to find your own method and find it quickly. One of the things that are most fleeting in this experience called life is life itself. And why waste time struggling with something that you simply have to humbly give yourself to? I'm not a master at it, and I hope I never become one, but I know what to do when I didn't know what to do before. It all belongs to God, they say, so then give it to him. Yeah, I got to prepare. I got to prepare for my kids' college education, and I should prepare for my retirement. Those are things that are in the future, but right now, I can focus on how can I be of best serve you? How can I best show up? How can I best be an example and a sample of what this program can do? How can I do that better? Well, you know, I talk to you guys, and you guys have ideas. You guys tell me about what you've done, the retreats you've gone to, you know, the roundups you've done, how you've reached out to others, and how you volunteered your time. And so you've given me a map. And now I've found that I can connect better with people when I use your map. I call it the GPS system, the God positioning system. God puts me in a position where you and I intersect, and you share your ideas and I share mine, and you go your path, but you're carrying some of me spiritually and I'm carrying some of you. I believe that is coexisting, and I believe that that's why we're here, to coexist. And the wonderful part of that is that the natural form of ourselves really is a more loving being. That's our natural form. I fooled myself for years telling myself that the more natural form of me is violence, but that's untrue. Again, that is connected to the conspiracy my disease has with guilt, shame, and disgrace to bring me down. My disease really wants me dead, but it will suffice, it will be sufficient for my disease to see me laid out. Can't move, can't talk. No one to talk to, lonely. Those are the things that my disease really tries to infuse in my life, chaos. You know, and what this program has taught me is that I can set boundaries and I can protect my home. You know, I used to go out and stay out all night and come home with my new best friends, you know, and wake my wife up and say, could you make us some breakfast? You know, it's 4 o'clock in the morning, Troy. That's all right, get up, make us some breakfast. I got my new friends here. I'm not here to tell you about how I behaved and how I acted, but I'm going to tell you about how I behaved and how I acted. I was insensitive, inconsiderate, and selfish. And when I say that to you, please know that there are other lives that were damaged because of those things. Today, the same is true. I have an effect on other lives, you know. I have 3 kids who have never seen me drunk or high, you know. I have one that's in Purdue and the other's at Gwinnett College, and I got another one in high school. High school, y'all, at 61. How about that? But I can say this, they've never seen their father out of his mind. They've never seen their father violent. They've never seen me brandish a pistol. They've never seen me hit anyone. And for me, that is a broken cycle of behavior. They now have a chance of not repeating my life. What a wonderful gift I can leave. They call that legacy. But for an alcoholic and a drug addict like me, that is a miracle. And if you're looking for miracles, they are ample in this program. Many miracles are just I'll give you a scenario. Way back in the day, when I think I had maybe 18 months sober, and I had just lost my job. And they called it downsizing back then, but really I just got fired. And that can happen in sobriety as well. And the rent was due, the gas and the insurance payments were due, and I made it to a meeting, and I raised my hand and I said, this is what I'm struggling with. I need help, and I'm praying. And, you know, it's having an effect on me and my family. You know, after that meeting, you know, you guys kind of surrounded me, and you gave me someone to talk to and shared some numbers with me. And finally, I got out the room and walked to my car, and in the windshield there's an envelope. And I opened the envelope and there's $800 in there. And I don't know of any good friends that would extend a loan like that to me. And you guys gave it to me as a grant. And from that grant grew other grants that I was able to forward and give to somebody else. And I was also able to watch them give to another. That's how you folks have had an impact on me. I've had the opportunity to sponsor over 200 guys. Not all of them stayed sober, but here I am, still here. Here I am, being a witness and telling you that it can happen for you too. And you guys have already infused in me this ability to be empathetic and understand. I didn't have that coming in here, you know, and what I found is that I'm surrounded by people who love, you know, love each other and love me. So we pray together and we pray separately. Any man I sponsor knows that I pray because we pray together. Any man I sponsor knows that I've gone through the steps because we go through them together. They know that I attend meetings because we see each other together. And yeah, we do extracurricular stuff too, like attend church and volunteer at hospitals and, you know, parent our children, you know, and be a good partner. And for all that, you guys are my witnesses, and you allow me to witness the same in you. This program is miraculous, and I can talk about it all night. I can tell you that, you know, we do retreats. Yeah, we do, because retreats for me allows me to shave off the dead skin and grow some new skin. You know, I can also stay up all night talking about recovery and then do something that I was so afraid to do. Ask questions like, how are you doing, man? Sweetie, how are you doing? Let's have a cup of coffee, you know, and let's chop it up. I am not too busy. You know, I will take your call. And more than that, I'm going to share this journey with you as many have shared with me. There's a long road ahead, hopefully. And even if it is not, we still have today. And there is nothing more important than that. What can I do differently today? How can I extend my hand today? How can I show love today? How can I be tender with myself today? Because, you know, sometimes I'm hardest on myself than anyone else could possibly be. So I now must change my attitude about that. I look myself in the mirror and say, I love you too. You know, and I always say that I'm just a child of God, you know. So if the God I serve doesn't have any grandchildren, then you are my brothers and sisters, you know. So why should I be afraid of you? Why should you be afraid of me? We can coexist. We can coexist. And, you know, there was a time that I was always worried about being caught doing something bad, you know. Today, that is not my concern, but I always get caught doing something good though. And that too is a blessing in itself, you know. I'm that dad that my daughter calls and said, Dad, I was just thinking about you. I just wanted to call and say hi. That's amazing to me, you know. What have I left behind is going to be the question, right? And today I can tell you, I leave some very loving kids, very compassionate beings behind, you know. And I show appreciation, not just for them, but for their mothers as well, and understand that without her, I couldn't have them, you know. This is the gift of the present right now. This is my moment. And I give my flowers now. I don't want to wait until we put it on your grave. I want to give them now while you're still here to appreciate it, you know. My daughter came a couple of months ago. I had to have a little prostate thing. And my daughter's at Purdue, and she was like, Dad, I'm coming. I was like, okay, I'll get you a plane ticket. She said, no, I want to come with the car because, and I said, okay, I'm not fighting. And she drove and she got here. And she took care of her old man, you know, as he went through this thing, you know. And it wasn't a big deal to her, but to me, it was everything. My baby drove across country just to come. And sit with me. You know, that's love. That's love. And that's a direct gift from this program. You know, because if she still had a drunk crackhead for her dad, I doubt if she would get in a car. She'd probably say, call me when you get out of the emergency, out of the surgery center. But that's not what she did. She came down, she cooked, she brought food to me, and she sat and she watched TV and laughed with me. I say this to you because that's what's valuable today. You know, it's not about how much money you have in the bank. It really isn't. It's not about what kind of car you drive, what kind of house you live in. It's about what kind of love do you have in your life. What can you leave behind spiritually? Because everyone we touch, everyone we speak to, everyone we have an encounter with, we leave some of our spiritual DNA on them. What do you want to leave? You know, that's the question of the day. What do I want to leave behind? And it's not morbid. It is truly, truly love. Well, I think I've spoken enough. I leave you in the hands of the Most High. Thank you for listening.